Welcome back, everybody. And now that we're gonna pretty much learn how we're gonna we already know how to determine the slope, how we're gonna determine that y-intercept, how we're gonna use the slope-intercept form. Now let's look at another video, and this one here is we're gonna go ahead and use the point slope formula. So for the point slope formula, and we want to write the equation using the point slope formula. And one of the formula is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So here m is the slope of the line, x1, y1 is another known point on the line. So here we to use the point slope formula to write the equation. So we already know we have the slope of 3 passing through the point, and they want you to write that answer in the slope-intercept form. To write that slope-intercept form is a little bit easier. And you know you already have the point, you have one point that is passing through that point. So all you have to do and substitute that into the slope equal to 3 and use one of the point and then substitute that into your y1 and x1 and then solve the y to get to the y-intercept form, as you can see. And now you minus 4 to both sides, and now they turn that into the y-intercept form. So one thing to, that formula is originally derived from the slope formula, which is, let me write something here so you can see that. So here you have when you look at the slope is equal to change in y over change in x. And because your change in y is x, you have y, the 2, y1 minus y. From the slope point, you have a y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And now you can just change that to y1 minus y, x1 minus x. And then that's how you came up with that formula. So here you got y minus y1, and then you have a m x minus x1. Now you can just solve that into your y in the set form. So from here, I'm gonna clear that up. So here with m equal to 3, your slope is already known, which is 3, and substitute one of this point into it. And once you substitute that into here, then you can solve the y to get the y-intercept form. And same kind of a question. They want you to use a slope point formula to write an equation of the line having the slope -4 and passing through the point. Write that into the slope-intercept form. So very critical that you know what is the slope-intercept form. That means they want you to write that into y equal to mx plus b. And then here, from here, you already have the slope, and the slope is already given by -4. And now I'm going to use that formula, m equal to, you have x minus x1, and it's equal to m. So from here, m equal to y2 over y1 minus y over x1 minus x. So you just cross multiply them to get you get m time. So to go back to the formula, you get that, let me write the formula. So your m is equal to y1 minus y over x1 minus x. Now you just cross multiply that, you get m times x1 minus x. Let me erase that. So I'm gonna write that a little bit more clear. And then you have a y1 minus y. So, and you already know that the slope equal to -4 times x1. You already know that first point is -1. And you have to use x. So from here, you see that you have a y minus y1, x minus x1. So let me erase that. So you're going to go x minus x1, y minus y1. So let me change it a little bit. And now we're going to go to y1, x1. So x1, y1. Now I'm going to have to go with, let me erase this. And let's do that. So we have a x, which is minus, this is going to be x1, this is going to be y1. So your x is going to be minus 1 is going to be plus 1. And then you have y minus 5. Now you're ready to solve it. And now that you can distribute that slope into x and 1. So the first number you're going to get -4x minus 4 is equal to y minus 5. So you're going to add 5 to both sides. So add 5 to both sides, and you're going to find out y is equal to -4x. And -4 plus 1 is going to give you plus 1. So y is equal to -4x plus 1. And now you get the y-intercept form because y equal to mx plus b. And simply say y, you can rewrite that equation as y equal to -4x plus 1. So there would be a y-intercept form. Okay, so enough for that. I'm going to clear that up and move on to the next problem. So writing an equation of the line given 2 points. If you are given 2 points and you get x1, y1, x2, y2, and they want you to write that in the slope-intercept form, you can again first determine what the slope is, and then once you have the slope, you use a slope formula, which is change in y over change in x. Substitute that point and determine what the slope is with the slope. And now you can choose any point. You choose -2 and 5 as your x1, y1, and then you can just substitute into that slope the point formula and then solve the y, and then to get that y-intercept format. So from here, you get that y-intercept format. So here is another, I think that's another quiz question. So you're going to use that point slope formula, use that point slope formula, and then given the point 1, 1, given the second point -1, -5, they want you to write that formula write up in the y-intercept form. So this is going to be quiz number 4. And then you have one more quiz, and then we'll call them done for this lecture. So here, to write the equation using the point slope formula to find the equation of the line passing through the point, and it's parallel. That's the key word, parallel to the line. So that means parallel to this, your slope must be the same slope. So as you can see, given the slope equal to -4, so you know the slope is equal to -4. So here you have m equal to -4, and I'm going to use the point slope formula, plug it in, the slope equal to -4, and then the point, and it's already given the point -1, 0. substitute into your point slope formula and solve that in y-intercept form and distribute that slope into x and then to the 1. So your y equal to negative 4x minus 4. So that's your final answer for the slope-intercept form. Okay, so same kind of a situation, and all you have to do is to use that point slope formula, and you already know that one of the line must be parallel to your equation, so your slope must be the same, parallel to that, so must be 3/4. Then you substitute into the point with your point slope formula, and then solve the y so that you can use that y-intercept to solve them to the y-intercept formula. So use the point slope formula to find an equation of the line passing through the point -3 and 1 and perpendicular to that. They want you to write the final answer in the slope-intercept form. So from here, if it's perpendicular to that, at the very beginning, I'm going to have to find out what the slope for the equation. So the slope for the equation is when you solve that standard formula into your slope-intercept formula, that's how you can, find what the slope is. So from here, you know that slope is equal to -3. From here, I can, because they're looking for perpendicular to that slope, so you're going to have to find the opposite and reciprocal for that slope. Opposite reciprocal is going to be 1/3. So now that you know that slope equal to 1/3 and passing through that point, I'm going to use the point formula, the point slope formula, and substitute that slope with 1/3, substitute that point x and y1 with that point, and now you can see solve the y to get that 1/3x plus 2, and that will be your y-intercept format. So here they want you to write the equation of the line passing through the point 10,4 and perpendicular to that line. So you have x plus 2y equal to 1, and now you can just use the same idea and find out what the slope for that equation, and then always use that opposite and reciprocal for that equation with a slope, and then use that point slope formula, substitute that point into the point slope formula, solve them into your until you get to your y-intercept form. So I think this is going to be your last quiz. Let's do that. So this is going to be your last quiz, and they want you to write the equation passing through point 10,4 perpendicular slope to that equation x plus 2y equal to 1. So again, if you have any concern or anything like that, always open up the quiz and open up the talk to me during that opening Q&A session, so that we can go over all this question. So different form of a linear equation. So when you look at that, here's a quick summary. When I look at this standard form, you see that ax plus the by equal to c, and this is one of the example, 4x plus 2y equal to 8. Horizontal, always the horizontal line is always be y equal to a constant. Vertical is x equal to another constant. So for the slope-intercept form, you have y equal to mx plus b. And for the point slope formula, you got y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So that's a standard formula. So for this example, to find the equation of the line passing through the point and it's parallel to the x-axis. To parallel to the x-axis, that means your slope gotta be 0. So one of the tricky problem for this equation is, for this question is, they already said parallel to your x-axis. So when it's parallel to your x-axis, must be the flat slope. When you have a flat slope, your m is going to be equal to 0. When your m is equal to 0, then you know that you don't have the slope, and then you whatever the intercept here, it will be your equation. So for that case, it's y equal to -4. Then you done with that question. So same kind of principle when they ask you to write the equation for the vertical. So vertical must be undefined. So when it's undefined, then it's gonna be a vertical line. So you're gonna get x equal to whatever that number here, the x given by that point, -7. So your equation must be x equal to -7, because when they say vertical, that means you have undefined slope. Don't worry about anything about the slope. Just use the x point as your vertical line. With that, I guess you have 5 problems that you need to submit online, and that will be 5 quizzes to get the 1 hour credit. So with that, if you do have any questions, let me know. And we'll see you in the class for any Q&A session. Bring any question that you may have, your concern or what have you. Bring that to the class so that we can discuss it. For now, I'm gonna end this chapter 3, and then I'll see everybody in the class.